I need the glasses. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan. Céad míle fáilte roimh go léir an seo is dtíthe. Tá áthas agus bródarm gur tháinig an méid seo daoine amach ar Mohan. Gur míle maith agaibh. Agus tásúla gom go bhfuil sibh ag buin tainmh as an ihe. It was a fortuitous day for me when I applied for a job with the Muslim community in South Circular Road. I believe nothing happens by mere chance, and alhamdulillah, through the wish of Allah, God Almighty, I came to know the Muslim community through my job. I've learned so much from my brothers and sisters in the Muslim community. I hold them in the highest esteem. I have learned about the wonderful history of Islam, but mostly about the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as I said wrote in a recent letter to the parents, they know how much Christians revere Jesus Christ. And I've come, through my knowledge, through my life with the Muslim community, and through my reading independently, to have the same regard for the Prophet, peace be upon him. And I would enjoin people and ask people to look beyond the obvious, and to look beyond propaganda, and to look beyond things that don't matter very much, and to look at the real situation. And it is with great happiness that I've spent my years, 23 and a half years, with the Muslim community. As I say, I have learned so much and been humbled and overjoyed to learn what Islam has brought to civilization and to the world. It has been a great privilege to work with the Muslim community, and great trust has been placed upon me by the parents, by the patron, by boards of management. Great trust, because when you work with children, you work with the innocent. People put their trust in you to do a good job, and inshallah, I hope that I've always tried to fulfill that trust. I hold it as a great privilege to, number one, be called a teacher, but a teacher is also a learner, and as I say, I have learned as much as I've ever taught from the Muslim community. I have so many happy memories, funny memories, hilarious memories, all kinds of funny situations, but very, very dear, happy memories that I'll carry with me to my grave, and maybe beyond, as my Muslim brothers and sisters, hopefully we will all share time together in the other world, in Jannah, all of us together. This is an auspicious year for the Muslim community. It's the 25th anniversary of the Muslim National School in Clonskee, and I want to acknowledge the great credit due to the people who initially worked towards getting a school for the Muslim community. They were lucky in Ireland, thanks be to God, at the time, because, denominational education, among others, was a right of people. Things have changed now, and times are changing, but those people did a lot of hard work to build up a school, and it was my hope, and Miss Colin McGlade's hope, I'm sure I can speak for him, to give as good a standard of education as we could possibly give to the children coming into our care. And as Asia spoke there about the Islamic ethos, I have found it wonderful to work in a school with a religious ethos. I found it an absolutely huge support. and so good for the children in our care, because it doesn't just cater for the mind and doesn't just cater for the body, it caters for the spirit. And we are mind, body and spirit. And I will say at this point, I want to thank the teachers, the Irish teachers, the staff, the religious education teachers, the SNAs, who all work together and who try to bring children and to keep children in the path of their own religion. And that's great credit to the teachers, because Islam is not the religion of all of the teachers in the school, but all of the teachers try to lead the children in the path that the patron and the parents wish them to be led in. And that's a great thing to do. As we know, I can say that Jesus Christ, it is reported that he said, "Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven." In other words, when you teach a child or when you lead a child towards the religious aspirations of their community, you are doing God's work, whether it is your own religion or not. And I want to thank the staff of the Muslim National School for taking that duty seriously and to heart, and doing their best to lead those children on the path that their parents wish them to be led on. I have a lot to say, but I want to say that I'll take this out. I feel better. I want to say that I feel blessed that I had Sheikh Yahya Al-Hussein as the boss, the real boss, the patron of the school in all my working years. Sheikh Yahya, you have been such a good person to work with. Sometimes people say to me, "Oh, what about those Muslims? How do they treat women?" And sometimes I feel like giving them a smart answer and saying, "Oh, terrible, really, they have us in chains." But the Muslim women are a force to be reckoned with, and they're very strong as individuals. And as I say, I feel very blessed that Sheikh Yahya was the patron, because he put up with me, and particularly as principal, and all my foibles and odd behaviours and so on, so forth, etc. So thank you, Sheikh Yahya. It was a sad day when I had to let him know of my decision to retire. It was a horrible day to have to drive into South Circular Park and go into the office. But I felt myself that it was the right thing to do for me and for the school. I had done as much as I could. Sheikh Yahya had a look of shock on his face because he's used to me. But I reassured him, and I think he believes me now, that I would be leaving it in good hands. Sean McCarthy, I knew, was willing to act as acting principal, and I knew that as Sean was willing to do that, I was leaving the school in very, very capable and good hands, with Maureen as deputy and all of the staff. I can't say enough, I come to that, about the staff of the Muslim National School. All of them. When I told Sheikh Yahya of my decision, and when it started to sink in what I had done, I had very mixed feelings. I described to somebody that I felt like one of the junior infant mothers. Do you know when they bring the children to school on the 1st of September and you can't get rid of them? They hover around, they're looking in the windows, they're afraid, they're wondering, will that teacher be kind? Will they be okay? Will my child be crying? Well, I felt like that about the Muslim National School, even though I knew Sean was going to be a good parent. I felt like I was giving away something very precious to me. But that has to happen in life. There has to be change and there has to be development. And I know, and I said it to Sheikh Yahya, that Sean and the staff will take the school to places that I couldn't take it. And I will always be there to put in my tuppence worth for what it's worth to tell them which checkbook to use and which one not to use, and so on and so forth, etc. So we have worked very, very well as a team. And I think it's true to say that the school, the transition has been very smooth, and everything is ticking along nicely. Assia said to me there at the table, she said to me, "You're very good at delegating." I said, that's one of the real good skills of leadership, to know and see who's good at different things, and to rejoice in that, and to give that person the chance to develop themselves, and the chance at leadership, and the chance at trying different things. And so I'm not just lazy, I'm good at delegating. I get, as I say to the staff, I know I'm leaving my beloved school in excellent hands. The other thing I want to talk briefly about is the ethos. The ethos of the school is Islamic, and that's a very positive thing. It's very positive. And I would ask the staff to foster that in every way that you can, in every way. When we were kids in school, the nuns, they were brilliant. But you weren't a Catholic during the religion lesson. You were a Catholic all day long, or whatever religion you were. And everything you did would have been informed by the Catholic ethos. And so it should be the same for the Muslim. And that is positive. And that is my wish for the school. I know the staff are so capable. I would ask them to, that aspect of the school is so close to the hearts of parents. There's no use calling it a Muslim school if the ethos isn't Islamic, truly Islamic. There's no threat in that. It's something very, very positive and very, very wonderful for this country. There's special importance. Sheikh Yahya and Isa, our chairperson, who's in Ghana at the moment, and Mohammed Jamani is there. I worked with Mohammed as chairperson as well. And Isa couldn't be here, but when Isa told me that the board and the Islamic board were thinking of having a do for me, I greedily thought, great. And the reason I thought great was this. I know I put a lot of expense on the Muslim community, but I think it's worth it. Because I wanted people that I have known all my life and who are important to me outside the circle of the Muslim school to meet. I wanted people to meet each other, because I believe that in the difficult times that we live in, if we don't meet each other, talk to each other, discuss things with each other, bounce ideas off each other and argue with each other, that we will never go forward. It is the only way forward. I also want to say I am so proud, and they all know it in the school. I stand as straight as I can. I don't wobble and belt the national anthem out. Ireland is a very special place. A lot of people in the Muslim community over the years have mentioned, different people, different times, how they love living in Ireland, they like living in Ireland. And I think what it is that it's the old spiritual tradition that is thousands of years old. It's coming true, it's still alive. It's still alive. We shouldn't let it die, but that is what people are tuning into. It doesn't matter what particular religion you are, you can kind of feel it. We must never let it die. And I believe, and I hope, one of my dearest hopes is that the Muslim community in Ireland can be an example to the world. Ireland has been an example to the world on many other occasions. We were once known as the island of saints and scholars, and we sent learned, saintly people to other parts of the world which were in darkness. Together we can be a light to the rest of the world, but it's not something that's going to happen. We have to work at it. We have to be conscious that we need to work at it and work together, because what's the future if we can't be together as human beings and respect each other? What's the future? It's unthinkable. That is my dearest hope, and that is why I was so happy to have the Houlihan's that I've known since as long as I can remember. People I met all through my life here together, my cousins, my sister, friends from the Muslim community, to get to know each other and see each other as people, as friends, as people who have common interests. So that is why I let Sheikh Yahya and Isa go ahead and spend all that money. Now, the difficult part. Sean painted me like some kind of a saint. We all know I'm not. So, but I won't dispel the illusion for the moment. Thanks, Sean. You did a fantastic job and you painted me better than I am. But I want to try and say my thanks. I want to thank my family, Lorcan and Adam, who are here, Teresa. They have listened to me and my friends. And any of my friends, they know names from the Muslim community, they know all sorts of things that happen, they know all about Necroof and what a wonderful caretaker he is. I think he should be cloned. Forget about the sheep, clone Necroof, and everyone should have him. So, he's a wonderful, wonderful person. But I want to thank my family and friends for all their support, for putting up with me, for giving me their advice and listening to me when I would get frustrated about things, and because they knew that deep down I loved the Muslim school, so that was the bottom line. I want to thank my colleagues who really stood up to the mark, because when I started as principal, all the good days were over. The Celtic Tiger had died and the Department of Education were cutting grants, they were cutting teachers' salaries, they were cutting everything. So I could have had a situation on my hands where the teachers were saying, well, look, sorry, we're not being paid. Nobody ever refused to do anything that I asked. I asked all kinds of things, extra things, and everybody stepped up to the mark, and I want to thank you most sincerely for that. So I really would like a big bowl of us for the teachers of the National School. Whether it was taking an awkward class, whether it was going in and Sean knows fixing the computers, rebooting the computers, whatever it was, they did it. Giving up their lunchtime, maybe to do supervision of one kind or another, if somebody was out sick. Nobody, I never had one person complain to me, saying, no, I don't. Now, they might have complained behind my back. I don't know, and I don't want to know. I want to think they did it, so I do. But honestly, they really stepped up to the mark. I want to thank Sean and Anissa Beldy for all the work they did in preparing for this evening. They did a fantastic job, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. And thank you so much. Anissa is a past pupil. Her children now attend school, so we're into the second generation. Aisha and Mohammed are there, and I've known both of them since I started in South Circular Road. In fact, Aisha used to tell me to beat Noradine. So he was never that bad, the poor chap. Do you remember that, Aisha? And the famous Noordine's daughter, Sean is telling me, is starting with us in September. So, but they've always been two cheerful and supportive people, and Anissa is their daughter, and she's now the mother's nominee on the board of management, and is very active and cheerful, and it's wonderful to see the second generation coming and taking their place and working with us. So well done, Anissa. And thank you, Sean. I'm not going to name all the staff, and they're good, the wonderful things that they do, one by one, but I am going to talk about Belinda. Where are you, Belinda? Belinda was my secretary, is Sean's secretary, and Belinda and I had a great working relationship. Isn't that right, Belinda? I used to call her Sybil to my Basil, so you can figure that one out. Sybil and Basil Faulty. And Belinda is the perfect person for the office of the Muslim National School. It can be hectic, is the only word, hectic. And you've got 3 people speaking Arabic, 1 speaking Urdu, and they all want your attention now. Now. Belinda sits there and deals with them so calmly. The office of the Muslim National School can also be a very interesting place to work. Asia, I'll tell one of your stories of the parent who came in about his children and inquired of Asia. She was stepping in for Belinda at one point. I don't know if she knew any women that might be interested in marrying him. It's not everywhere you get that. So, now she couldn't oblige, but it does happen. You'd never be bored, so you wouldn't. You would not die of boredom. So it's a rather interesting place. I think Mudaffar is over there, and poor Mudaffar works at South Circular Road with Sheikh Yahya. And he's my first point of contact. So my query is his nibs in? We had to look up his nibs, hadn't we? Is his nibs knocking around the place? So Mudaffar is well used to the banter. As I say, you'd never be bored in the Muslim National School. I want to thank Necroof. Necroof is so he looks after the place as if it was his own, and you know, he the kind of person who really looks after their own house now, and he looks after the Muslim National School, and it has been commented on by inspectors, by all sorts of people who come in, and they remark on how well the school is looking. Necroof could be going around at 8 o'clock in the morning with a paintbrush. And as I say, he was a treasure, he was a find, he was a real find, so he is. Anyway, we'll move on to Sergio, where Sergio is down there as well. Sergio was another find. And as I say, the school is looking very, very well now because of their care and administrations. I want to thank Rami and Syed, who also come, and if there's a major problem, they fix it, so they do. So thank you, Rami and Syed, who, as I say, keep the school running, because during the 5 years we were running on a shoestring part of the time. I want to thank the members of the Board of Management, the present board, and the recent past, and the previous one. Isa, the chair, Mohammed Jamani was the previous chairperson, and Mohammed is there. And thank you, Mohammed, for everything that you did for the school. Isa Hosseini is the present chairperson, but Isa is not present here. He's in Ghana at the moment. And I would also like to mention at this point Nesreen Mehdi, who acted as treasurer with me and did 8 years on a board of management, so that's no joke. Nesreen couldn't be with us this evening, unfortunately, but great thanks are due to Nesreen. And as I think Anissa can verify, we have a great system going, so we have. And that's largely thanks to Nesreen. I don't want to, because all of the staff have been fantastic, I do want to mention the choir, which is dear to my heart, and Orla O'Neill. Thank you, Orla. Thank you so much for all the work. The choir is a very important kind of outreach from our school. They go out to the Little Sisters home around the corner from us and entertain the old folks, the residents there. And that's very good for the children, and it's also very good for the residents of the Little Sisters home there in Clonskee. But they have provided entertainment on many occasions and at many venues. We didn't bring them tonight because it is a logistical nightmare to be bringing children and minding them. But oh, very good. Very good. Yeah. They sing in English, Irish, Arabic, and I think somebody did teach them Spanish and Bennett. At one stage, didn't you? So the choir is, it's so good for them, it's so good for their confidence and everything else. And I want to thank Orla because she's a natural. I haven't a note in my head, but Orla can know whether they should be singing B flat or D or whatever, and if they're up or down, I wouldn't have a clue. But anyway, thank you, Orla. I want to thank the IFI, the Islamic Foundation of Ireland, and patron under Sheikh Yahya of the Muslim National School in Clonskee for this wonderful evening. I want to thank the ICCI, the Islamic Cultural Centre of Ireland, based in Clonskee, and they have part funded this evening. Unfortunately, Dr. Noel Caddo couldn't be here this evening. He was ill. I just think there's a bug going around. And but I want to thank them. I want to thank Mr. Mirza Al Sayegh, who is Maktoum's representative to us and to the ICCI. And as the teachers know, but some of you may not know, the ICCI fund the school for the teaching of religion, and they give us very substantial grants, which are very much needed. So I want to mention them and say thanks. I want to thank the Islamic Board of Education, Qasim and Asya are here. And if you convey our thanks, Asya, please, and Qasim, to the Islamic Board of Education, which is the equivalent of the, I can never say, the CPSMA or the CMSA, I'm never sure which it is, but the Islamic Board of Education was set up about 5 years ago, would it have been, and it's still in its infancy compared to the Catholic one, but it's doing great work on behalf of the schools. I would also like to thank a brother who's not here, Brother Mohammed Khamez, who had children. I know the shyest one of all would be very embarrassed, Linda Zater. Linda is multi-talented. I would ring Linda when I needed sandwiches, when I needed scones, Linda, and she's very, very, very shy person. I'm not going to name all the ladies over there by name. Unfortunately, we have one very active mother, Mrs. Sabina Saeed, who's in Pakistan. Her father, God rest him, passed away, and she couldn't be here. She had to travel to Pakistan. And Aisha Saeed is here, and many of the other mothers here. Thank you all for all your support. Catherine, Sonia, Veronica, Grania, Rifat, Aisha, Suzanne, Samara, Kulthum, Noor, and Fadwa. You're not a mother, Noel. Well, you are, but not usually. Noel is a religion teacher, and Sheikh Yahya's wife. Thank you all. Susan O'Neill. Who else am I forgetting? Oh, good. This is the danger. But anyway, if I've forgotten, please forgive me for that. Again, special thanks to Sean and Denisa. I don't see this as an ending. I see it as a new beginning and a change of role. Inshallah, I hope the Muslim community will always want me to be part of their community and our community. And thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. And the school and the community are very, very dear to me. Thank you. Looking for song, but I'm not the person Jersey who can wear.